All right. What's up, everybody? My people, Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, or Staten Island, and my home borough, Brooklyn. Back at another video, and of course, we all know June 25th marks the 25-year anniversary of Jay-Z's legendary debut album, Reasonable Doubt. It's one of the greatest debut albums in the history of hip-hop, one of the greatest albums, period, in the history of hip-hop. And it's probably one of the most essential albums of that era, that 90s era. Okay, for all you don't know what I'm referring to, as we all know, in the 90s, the West Coast, led by Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg's G-Funk sound, was the dominant rap scene in hip-hop. The West Coast was. Okay, in 1993, the Wu-Tang Clan dropped their legendary debut album, Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers. Then that kicked off what's known as the East Coast Renaissance, or the New York Renaissance. Okay, in 1994, Nas dropped Illmatic, Biggie dropped Ready to Die. In 1995, Mobb Deep dropped The Infamous. Okay, and in 1996, which is, in my view, the greatest year in the history of hip-hop, Jay-Z dropped his debut, Reasonable Doubt. Okay, and it wasn't like an instant classic bam just yet, because Jay-Z wasn't really known outside of, New York and hard-body hip-hop heads. He wasn't known. And he was on the level of a Nas or a Big or a Jay, or a Tupac, in terms of fame. Okay, but in retrospect, it was a classic album. It was a classic, instantly, dare I say. But no, problem is it didn't have any crossover mainstream hits. Okay, as you see, here's the playlist, the track list for the album. Can't Knock the Hustle featuring Mary J. Blige. My personal favorite, one of my all-time favorite Jay-Z songs, Brooklyn's Finest, featuring Biggie Smalls. Jay-Z, Big Smalls, nigga, shit your drawers. Where you from? Brooklyn, going out to all. Marcy, you don't stop. Bed-Stuy, you don't stop. The Evils, when he sampled Snoop Dogg and Prodigy. And, of course, Dead Presidents when she sampled Nas. Because Nas won't give him a feature, but, hey, that's whatever. Like I said, this was an essential album. It promoted the mafioso rap style, which was prominent in the East Coast hip hop at that time. It was originated from Kool G Rap, and it got a resurgence in 1995 when Raekwon the Chef dropped his debut album, Only Built for Cuban Links. As you see, here's Jay-Z with Biggie Smalls. Of course, Jay-Z had been around since the late 1980s under the mentorship of Jaz-O. He was on a song Hawaiian Sophie, which, of course, Nas brought attention to, and Tupac as well, but whatever. He was Jaz-O's hype man. He was a hard-body lyricist. He was one of these hibbity, fast-paced, fast flow style rappers. Okay? And then Nas changed all that. But again, we're not getting into that. Of course, in 1994, I believe, that was the year he dropped Dead Presidents. He dropped Dead Presidents. He changed up his whole style, his whole flow. He got the attention of Biggie Smalls, and Biggie, took him under his wing per se, even though Jay's older. They formed a group called The Commission. Commission, unfortunately, because Big's passing, they never got to release a project together. He was on Lil' Kim's debut album, Hardcore, which was also released in 96. So Jay-Z had been around hip-hop for a while by the time he dropped it. Of course, he linked up with Dame Dash and Biggs. They formed Rockefeller Records, and most people know this. Reasonable Doubt was supposed to be the only album Jay-Z ever released. He only released it so they get attention. Rockefeller Records get attention, but he ended up being the main star, the head honcho. Of course, this is a Wikipedia entry for the Reasonable Doubt album. We're about to read under Reception and Legacy. Reasonable Doubt has been acclaimed by music critics. According to Pitchfork's Ryan Schreiber, if I mispronounced that, I'm sorry. It has often been considered one of hip-hop's landmark albums, while Birchmeier said it was viewed like Nas' Illmatic as a classic hip-hop album by a young rapper about their street and criminal experiences. Now, for all you who don't know, Jay-Z was 26, going on 27 at the time this album was released. So he was kind of old. He was looked at as kind of old to be dropping a hip-hop album. Most rappers, if they get started in their late 20s, if they don't start getting attention to their late 20s, they normally lie about their age. Eminem did, DMX did, just name a few. Reasonable Doubt helped transfigure gangster rap into mafioso rap, popularizing the subgenre and the imagery of high-class, expensive lifestyles. and taste in hip-hop, including drinking Cristal, driving Lexus automobiles, and living out the plots of films such as Scarface and Carlito's Way. Yeah, if you listen to the intro on Brooklyn's Finest, they parody Carlito's Way. Okay, I'm reloaded. You motherfuckers thank you big time. Of course, they're both Al Pacino films. In the opinion of Miles Marshall Lewis, Reasonable Doubt was a seminal work that shocked the world, a personal touchstone for fans than Jay's own age who were getting their own hustles on hip-hop's young, gifted, and black. Jay-Z said that recreating Reasonable Doubt would be challenging as he was living a different lifestyle with a completely different state of mind when he wrote the album. Yeah. Hey, Jay, you still spending that money from 88? But anyway, Reasonable Doubt has also often been considered by many fans to be Jay-Z's best record. He himself deemed it his best. Look, my personal favorite Jay-Z album was the Black Album. But, we're talking about his overall best. That would probably be the Blueprint. Because the Blueprint had, crossover hits, Jigga, Jigga, that nigga, Jigga. Stuff. It had, very personal, emotional songs like song Cry. And it had hardcore street shit. So that was probably overall his best album. Reasonable Doubt, it doesn't have any crossover hits. It's his most personal and emotional album. Anyway, according to Birchmeyer, it differed from his subsequent albums by lacking pop crossover songs and hits. What I just said. Shaheem Reid of MTV explained Reasonable Doubt may not have the radio hits or club bangers of many of his other albums, but it may be Jay at his most lyrical and certainly at his most honest, according to him. Huey said the lyrical appeal lied within Jay-Z's effortless, unaffected, cool flow. What you got from us? disarming honesty, and knack for writing some of the most acrobatic rhymes heard in quite some time. According to Huey, this helped Reasonable Doubt rank as one of the finest albums of New York's hip-hop renaissance of the 90s. Birchmeyer, on the other hand, believed the superior quality, producers were more responsible for the album's reputation as a classic more so than Jay-Z. In a retrospective review, MSN Music, Roberts Christgau, again, if I mispronounce that, I'm sorry, said the album was designed for the hip-hop cognoscenti and street. Damn. How big words can pronounce. Y'all can read this yourselves. Okay, Wikipedia entry under reception and legacy. Reasonable Doubt was named one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time by The Source in 1998. Vibe, who ranked it 7th on their 2002 list. MTV.com, who ranked it 6th on their 2005 list. And About.com's Henry Adoso ranked it as the 14th greatest hip-hop album and the second best rap record of 1996. That's definitely debatable because, like I said, 96 is, to me, the greatest year in the history of hip-hop. You had so many albums dropped that year. Not to get off topic, but you had Tupac drop All Eyes on Me, Nas dropped It Was Written, Outkast dropped ATLiens, and so on and so forth. And the 5th most essential hip-hop album ever. Blender included Reasonable Doubt on magazine's 2003 list of 500 CDs you must own before you die. That same year, Rolling Stone ranked it number 248 on their list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. And 250 is on the 2012 Revisited list. Damn, really? The magazine also named it the 17th best album of the 1990s. If I remember correctly, I believe Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly is the highest ranking album on the Rolling Stone 500 greatest albums of all time list. I believe it's 19th. If I'm wrong, correct me down below, but I believe Kendrick Lamar is the highest ranking album. But that's going to be it for this video. If you like it, click the like button, subscribe, comment down below what's your favorite record from the Reasonable Doubt album. What's your favorite Jay-Z album of all time? Quote some bars and lyrics lyrics in the comment section down below. Happy 25th anniversary, Reasonable Doubt. See y'all.